All right, guys, I got to give you updates with what's going on with ICE on the ground in Minneapolis and LA. You guys have seen the videos. You guys have seen all the evidence and the proof, but like it is a war zone out there. ICE is basically a hostile army that is occupying the American people and viciously cracking down on them, assaulting them, harassing them. Everything you could think of, literally raping them. We have plenty of evidence of like sexual harassment baked in a systemic fashion. So you got all these, most horrible things you can imagine. It's par for the course with what's going on right now. But it actually gets darker than you could ever imagine. This is becoming a nightmare for this country. So look at this. Breaking. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, just publicly admitted what many have been warning about. They are detaining people for, quote, status review. Read that again. That means DHS is arresting human beings before verifying who they are, before confirming citizenship or legal status, and before establishing probable cause, then locking them in detention facilities while they, quote, figure it out. So understand something, y'all. By that logic, with that approach, none of us are safe. None of us are safe. They'll lock you up, and then we'll figure out later what we're going to do with that person. Well, what the fuck? How many examples have we seen? Many, by the way, of like people going, I'm an American citizen. Here's the proof of my American citizenship. And they respond with, I don't care. I don't care. So it appears like what they have is an arrest quota that's likely been given to them by Stephen Miller. Like, I don't care how you hit the number, but you got to hit the number. We have an arrest quota. And so what they're doing is going around and harassing anybody and everybody they see, especially people of color. If you're brown, they're just going to default assume that you don't belong in this country. That's their thought process. That's how they're functioning. And so now they're doing status review arrests, which is not a thing. That's not a thing. If the cops acted like that, it would be the number one scandal in the country. Yeah, we just arrest anybody based on no reason whatsoever and then figure it out after. Well, that's not how this is supposed to work. Again, this is the sort of shit that foments revolution, man. All right, they say, that is not law enforcement, that is not due process, that is government-sanctioned human trafficking. People are being seized, transported, and confined by the state without identity verification based on suspicion alone. U.S. citizens have already been caught in this net. Lawful residents have already been caught in this net. If the government can detain you first and ask questions later, constitutional rights become optional. The question isn't whether mistakes will happen, they already are. The question is how long Americans will accept a system where freedom depends on a bureaucrat deciding you deserve it after you've been locked up. Detained for status review is not normal, it is not legal, and it should terrify everyone. That is exactly right. And it's a war on freedom. They have taken away your freedom. So here you go. Here's one example of somebody detained for status review. Just absolutely insanely fascist actions here. All right, more. Ron Filipkowski says, ICE drones are coming to a city near you. Holy shnikes. So Chrissy Noem says, drones represent the new frontier of American air superiority. Under President Trump, we are entering a new era to defend our air superiority, to protect our borders and the interior of the United States. And the interior of the United States, he said there, very clear. With the creation of the DHS Program Executive Office for Unmanned Aircraft Systems and Counter-Unmanned Aircraft Systems, President Trump continues his historic legacy in developing American dominance. This will help us continue to secure the border and cripple the cartels, protect our infrastructure, and keep Americans safe as they attend festivities and events during a historic year of America's 250th birthday and FIFA 2026. So, yes, drones, imagine drones regularly policing the sky and spying on people and scanning your face and determining, I don't think that person's a citizen, or perhaps I think that person's a liberal or a leftist and we should fuck with them. That's what we're heading toward, y'all. They're trying to ban any and all dissent, and now they're going to deploy ICE drones in order to accomplish that goal. More. This looks like it's fucking parody. This looks like it's like a Daily Show segment or some SNL shit. Look at this. Fox News actually tweeted this. Stop the madness. Quote, what we are seeing across the country as organized gangs of wine moms use Antifa tactics to harass and impede ICE agents is not civil disobedience. It isn't even protest. It's just crime. Fox News unironically said, and I quote, there's organized gangs of wine moms that are committing crimes. Do these people have any idea how insane they look to anybody with a functioning brain cell? Do they have any idea how this comes across? These are the most un-American, insecure, freakish little pricks I've ever heard in my life. Organized gangs of wine moms? I gotta be honest with you guys, as a percentage of the population, they probably commit the least amount of crime of any demographic ever. Wine moms never hurt anybody. What are you talking about? You're really going to try to convince people that wine moms are like basically a cartel now that are doing violence against ICE agents? Guys, the victimization narrative on the right is so fucking out of control. It's insane. It's insane. Like, I'm sorry, you guys are not victims. You guys are the perpetrators. You guys are the criminals. So shut the fuck up with your whining and your bitching and your moaning and get the fuck out of these free cities. All right, more. This is the teen that ICE beat up and detained from Target until they realized he was a U.S. citizen and threw him out of the car in the Walmart parking lot. Fuck ICE. Justice for Juan Carlos. And here's what he looks like. Here's what he looks like. They fucked him up. ICE agents detained a U.S. citizen legal observer in Minneapolis. They really go after these legal observers, the people trying to make sure they don't commit crimes. Ironically, they commit crimes against the people who are trying to make sure they're not committing crimes. So they say ICE agents detained a U.S. citizen legal observer in Minneapolis, smashing his car window, dragging him out, and placing a knee on his neck. Conduct banned under Minnesota law after George Floyd. Well, of course. They're doing the things that led to George Floyd's death. Take a look at this.
Get off of him, you fucking asshole! He's not fucking resisting! He's fucking resisting! Fuck you!
Knee on the neck, just like that. So, I mean, add this to the list of what, thousands of crimes now committed by these ICE thugs. And of course, there's going to be no accountability whatsoever. Even though this is clearly criminal action and it's caught in plain sight in 4K.
What the fuck? No!
Jesus Christ, man. All because he wants to keep his community safe. And the irony is, ICE pretends like we're keeping the community safe by beating their ass on a daily basis. And here's the guy who's actually keeping the community safe, and they're beating his ass. Okay. Anti-ICE protester pepper sprayed in the face as CBP agents attempt to disperse the crowd of protesters following them through Minneapolis. Here we go. Let's take a look at this one. Oh my God. Totally fucking uncalled for. This is what these people do. Understand something, guys. They are looking for trouble. They are looking for violence. These are right-wing thugs who don't like liberals and leftists, and they see these protesters and they go, these are liberals, these are leftists, and so they assault them and they shoot fucking pepper spray at them for no fucking reason. God damn it. So apparently if you say fuck you, that's a pepper sprayable offense. Jesus Christ. Oh God, this gotta hurt so much. Point blank in the eye with pepper spray. Jesus. Breaking, Border Patrol takes a young man in Minneapolis, likely a teenager, who repeatedly asked to go into his house to show proof of his immigration papers, but BP did not allow. This is from Status Coup. Again, shout out to Status Coup. Everybody go subscribe to their YouTube channel. They're covering all this stuff live. Bro, that's a child right there. That is a child. By the way, why the fuck are these people dressed like this? Why are you dressed like this? It's bad enough that they're covering their faces and hiding their identities, even though they're supposed to be representing the community and they're paid for by our tax dollars, so we're their boss. It's bad enough they're hiding their identities, right? But like, why are you dressed like you're in fucking Desert Storm? What is this? Why are you wearing camouflage? Also, note here, it's not actually camouflage if you're not in a fucking forest. This is camouflage for a forest, dipshit. What is this? Would you play a little bit too much Call of Duty when you were younger? And you were like, I want to try to do this shit in real life? I want to like go shoot pepper balls at grandma's faces? Does that make it so you can get off? Is that what that is? Jesus.
What's your name? Go the Ahmed! Y'all are taking this guy here. Take him.
So somebody just got picked up by Border Patrol.
Teenager, so a child, and he has proof of immigration papers, and they didn't let him grab him. My God. In Minneapolis, federal agents are asking people for immigration status. In this video, you can see agents at a parking lot asking people charging their cars to show proof of their immigration status. The drivers were people of color. What a shock that that's what's going on there. ICE is going door to door now. What should you do if they knock on your door? Okay, so now they're going door to door. By the way, this is completely and utterly unconstitutional. This is totally illegal. They cannot enter your house or even go on your property unless they have your approval. They would need a judicial warrant. They don't have judicial warrants for this. They might say they have a warrant, but what they mean is an administrative warrant, which doesn't count. You need a judge to sign a warrant with your name on it. They don't have those, but they're going door to door. Wildly unconstitutional. So all the right-wingers who pretended like their main issue was the Constitution for all these years, if you're not speaking up now, you're completely and utterly fucking full of shit. Because this is such a brazen violation of the Constitution. It's not even close, and no right-wingers are opposed to it. They all fucking love it because it's harassing people of color. Today at 34th and Park in Minneapolis, a woman tried to drive down the street where a protest had broken out in front of a home ICE was raiding, saying she had a doctor's appointment to get to. ICE agents busted out her windows, cut off her seatbelt, and pulled her out before arresting her. This woman is just trying to drive to her doctor's appointment, and watch what happens.
Get back! Hey, go that way! Hey, back the fuck up! Sidewalk! Just build the sidewalk.
Get out of here!
Force is not law! Force is not law! You are not following the law!
All because she wanted to drive down the road where an ICE raid was happening because she wanted to get to her doctor's appointment. And when they tried to block her, she raised her voice at them. And that's enough for them to physically assault you on camera in front of everybody. That's a woman. This guy is manhandling a woman. These are terrorists. Can we just call them what they are? These are fascist terrorists. Their day of reckoning will come.
Yeah, man! This is your duty! Why don't you help that woman? Help that woman! Why don't you help someone? All you do is hurt! All you do is hurt! She's trying to drive down the street! Fucking please! Where is the law? Where is Let her go!
Jesus Christ. Arlete Maria Martinez's only request was to visit her son, Kevin, who was dying of cancer. ICE refused, and he died later that day. This administration has no decency nor sense of humanity, Senator Chris Van Hollen says. We are in contact with Arlete's family, and ICE must allow her to attend her son's funeral. Teen dies of cancer days after mother arrested by ICE. Quote, she's never going to see him. The ICE agent who killed Renee Nicole Good reportedly lied to his neighbors about what he does for work. He said he was a botanist. You believe that? And what he actually was a gangster, was a thug. Exclusive, congressional Democrats launch probe into whether January 6 Capitol rioters are now working for ICE. That probe is going to pull up some fascinating stuff, I bet you. Not only are you going to find January 6 people, you're going to find Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, Three Percenters, white nationalists, neo-Nazis. You're going to find them, without a doubt. How about this? Richard Hanania says here, a liberal journalist who seems to be sympathetic towards Antifa applied to join ICE. She fails to complete the required paperwork, drug test, or a test that she wasn't a domestic abuser. And they still offered her a job. She logs on to the government website and finds that it says she actually completed all the steps. Quote, to be clear, I barely applied to ICE. I skipped the steps of the application process that would have clued the agency in on my lack of fitness for the position. I made no effort to hide my public loathing of the agency, what it stands for, and the administration that runs it. And they offered me the job anyway. This is the level of vetting we're getting. They're literally taking anyone, criminals, racists, even Antifa. No wonder they're terrorizing communities. And then the article, of course, was in Slate.com. You've heard about who ICE is recruiting. The truth is far worse. I'm the proof. So that is crazy. There's literally zero actual vetting that's being done. But what is being done is they're massively lowering the standards. It went from about 6 months of training. They limited it all the way down to 47 days. Why 47 days? Because Trump's the 47th president. I wish I was kidding. I'm not kidding. They got rid of the sit-up requirement because these fat asses can't do fucking sit-ups. Okay? You have people who are actual criminals with long rap sheets who are trying to join. You had somebody who was over 400 pounds that was trying to join ICE. An ICE prosecutor in Dallas, James Roden, who was previously exposed for running a white supremacist X account praising Hitler and calling America a white nation, is quietly back in immigration court. After the Texas Observer revealed his online activity last year, he was pulled from court schedules, and Congress demanded an investigation. Immigration and Customs Enforcement promised a review within 120 days. That deadline blew past with zero public outcome. Now Roden has resurfaced as at the prosecutor's table, badge on, no explanation. ICE refuses to comment. The account is still active, just locked. Bottom line, a government lawyer who openly promotes racist ideology appears to be prosecuting immigrants again with no transparency, no accountability, and no evidence that ICE ever did what it claimed it would do. Same system, same silence, same bullshit. Nobody can ever disagree ever again when somebody argues this is a white supremacist system. The racism is built into the system. It's baked into the system. It's the default. It's the default operating system is racism, is white supremacy. And when you read something like this, ICE has an open Nazi lawyer who's still on the job. How else can you interpret that? How else can you read that? No, the fact of the matter is, he fits right in with these motherfuckers. He fits right in. And that Antifa woman who, tried to get a job at ICE, all that shows is there's zero vetting. But the fact of the matter is, almost everybody who's trying to sign up are the most racist scumbags in the country. It's a fact. I mean, we've seen this. They've said there's ICE agents on camera saying liberals have ruined this country. When somebody said to them, you guys are ruining this country because you're taking away our rights, the guy fired back, liberals have already ruined this country. That's who they're hiring, people who think like that. These aren't professionals. These aren't like law enforcement officials with long track records and, pristine resumes. No, these are people who, again, are completely sociopathic, and that's why they're trying to get this job. And then finally, 4 migrants die in U.S. immigration custody over the first 10 days of 2026. 4 migrants die in the first 10 days of 2026. Jesus Christ, y'all. So now, I mean, look, I lost count. I think we're between 35 and 40 people have now died in ICE custody in Trump's second term. So the regime has killed up to 40 people with their immigration enforcement. So this is who we're dealing with. We're dealing with an agency that assaults an 84-year-old married couple, and there's evidence of that. We've covered that. They shot a priest in the face with a pepper ball. They tear gassed a baby and ran over people with cars and didn't care, by the way, in the aftermath. They just ran them over and left the scene. They tear gassed journalists and cops. They obviously shot a 37-year-old mother in the face 3 times the other day, and now that guy's on the run, like the criminal he is. They're trying to block any investigation. They're not even cooperating with an investigation when the guy fucking murdered somebody on camera. They're saying we're not even going to have a trial over this. They zip-tied naked kids and threw them in the back of a U-Haul van at 2 a.m. And by the way, they were all American citizens. Not that that matters, because you shouldn't be zip-tying naked children anyway, right? But this is who we're dealing with. So people need to wake up to what's happening here. The psychopaths are in control of the system. And on some level, I think everybody gets that, which is why this colossal backlash is brewing. But nobody's coming to save us. We got to save ourselves. And they've left us no choice, right? So the American people now have to commit to defending their communities, right? Defend your communities. We don't believe in offensive violence. That's the difference between us and them. But we do believe in self-defense. And so we also believe that all these police departments should be ordered to arrest ICE agents who commit crimes. And if they're not, fucking shame on those officials that are not making that obvious decision. But you've left the people no choice. They will proceed to defend themselves. And if you don't like that, you can fucking kick rocks. Or a better idea, just get the fuck out of these communities and stop terrorizing them.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.